I thought I would start with this Back to the Future soundtrack because we're going back. We're going back again.
I was trying to understand it. I was trying to get the intro. Now I got it.
We're going back. This is part 2 of a look back at Should You Watch This, the history of Should You Watch This. We're here with my good buddy, the foil of the Popcorn Priest, Mr. Sacklunch himself. We're back. We're going to go through movies. They don't line up, I'm sorry, because we started to do part 1 and part 2. We split episodes. The show's gone through a lot of different evolutions, okay? But we're going to do 50, maybe 49 movies. And we're talking about why Dan hates me so much. And he doesn't
That's
like
why we're going to break it into so many different episodes, because it takes so long.
Yeah, we brought this up because of The Beekeeper and kind of other movies as well. And realistically, we're going through why I gave golden buckets, and Dan's going to tell me if I'm wrong or not, which I'm not.
But I think there's a little more context missing. I feel like you play loose and fast with your golden buckets.
That's what I just said. You said I can't give as many as I should.
But you're kind of saying whether you're right or wrong, you play loose and fast.
Well, here's the thing. If you pick great movies, you're going to the golden bucket ratio is going to be high. That's my argument. So we're going to keep going through that. Our last one we left on was Heat, which we both agreed is for sure a golden bucket.
All-timer. Yeah.
We're going to episode 51, which, again, the numbers don't match up. Please, we're just going to talk about movies and not episodes, okay? But we're going to go through all the way through episode, let's see, 121. Episode 121, which is The Fifth Element. So let's get right into it. Glass, 2000 from 2019. I gave it a medium bucket. My guests also gave it kind of a mediocre rating.
Yeah.
I wished it was better. It just didn't hit the mark of what was the one that started it all? This is a M. Night Shyamalan. Unbreakable. Great film. This just didn't hit that for me. So medium bucket.
Yeah, I won't disagree there.
All right, moving right along. Mandy from 2018. So if I were to go back in time, I would probably give this a large bucket. But the reason why I gave it a medium bucket is because it's such a heavy subject matter, and it's more artistic than it is. And it's Nick Cage at his best. He's raging. He's weird. There's a scene where he's in his underwear and he's drinking, and it's awesome. It's crazy, but yeah, not a large bucket. My co-stars gave it, or my guests, I should say. I'm the star, please.
Yes. Yes.
They gave it way higher marks than me. Gazillion trillion stars from Taylor. So
I mean, this one kind of relaunched him, right?
I would say yes. Did you ever see it?
I did not.
It's dark. It's very dark. It's very gory. It's very weird. It's very ethereal.
I did see one from him a little bit before Mandy, one called Joe, and I thought he was phenomenal in that. Like, the performance was really good because he really fell off. Like, after he bought that island, I don't know what happened on that island, but after he bought that island, it just, he fell off, man. Like, you go back and you look at movies like The Rock or Gone in 60 Seconds, those were all time.
Maybe
and then he just disappeared.
Maybe he was smoking bowls out of the dinosaur skulls that he bought. And he
That's what I'm saying, man.
was just gone. But I love the Cage we have now. And listen, I say this about a lot of stars. We don't have them for very long. So just enjoy what you get with them. Okay.
Amen.
And Mandy was a wild ride. Again, it's a hard movie to recommend to people that I know. but if you're a cinephile and you're okay with very dark subject matter and very gory stuff, it's pretty cool. The score is pretty crazy. So
Yeah. Okay.
no golden bucket there. Next one is First Reformed from 2017. I gave it a small bucket, almost a flaming bucket. I wouldn't recommend this to anyone. It's, again, it's almost in a different, similar to Mandy, where I wouldn't recommend that one, but I liked it. I wouldn't recommend this one, and I didn't like it.
I've never heard of this. And this is, if the movie was released after 2020, it's going to be semi hit or miss on whether or not I've heard it, because I had a newborn at the time. But this is back when I had all the time in the world and new movies. I've never heard of this movie.
Yeah, it's just you and I actually align on one thing, that we just like movies and we like to hang out and just have a good time. This is not that. You're not going to have a good time. Okay. It's very dark and I can't. I just can't. So please don't watch that. Small bucket.
Good advice.
Next movie is The Art of Self-Defense from 2019.
You're crazy. Come on. What are we doing here?
Listen, I don't know what I was doing at that time, but I loved it. I thought it was great. I gave it a golden bucket.
But it's not a golden bucket.
It's not. Okay, this is where I'm going to agree with you. It's a large bucket, but
thank you.
I loved it. I loved how kind of it's like a dark comedy, and I was just in a different place, and I just loved it. So I'm down being given concessions.
It was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
Yeah,
but
I appreciate that. I'll give concessions.
Yeah, not a golden bucket. I concede on that one.
Okay.
Dr. Sleep from 2019. I gave it a medium bucket. My guests gave this pretty high marks. It's not as good as The Shining. It's a sequel to The Shining. It doesn't have the weirdness of The Shining, but solid film. If you like The Shining, you should watch it. It's a medium bucket.
Agreed.
Never going to watch it again.
I would have went medium. Yeah, I would have went medium. The gypsy stuff, and I don't know, like it was watchable.
Yeah. There was some really cool scenes and some good connective tissue to the original, which I liked. Ewan McGregor is phenomenal in it. It's fine. All right, next movie is Good Time from 2017.
I didn't see it.
I don't think you should. We all liked it. This is back when I couldn't get guests on my show. It was just me and my movie theater friends, which is Cole and Taylor. They like to pick some random movies, obviously, like Mandy and First Reform and Good Time. But this is from the Safdie brothers. Here's the thing about Good Time. It's not a good time, okay? It is a stressful... I mean, did you watch the Adam Sandler, what is it? Uncut Gems? It has that feel where you're just constantly ready to pull your hair out. You're like, it's the tension is just always at high levels.
That garnered a golden bucket, dog?
I mean, thinking back in time, probably a large bucket. But here's the thing, dude.
Is that a movie that you would want to, of all the movies that you can watch, is that one that would even make your top 200?
Listen, I've mentioned this to you before. When you're watching movies that may or may not be a golden bucket with people that are vibing it, like I've mentioned, like if you and I hung out and we had a plate of wings and we had treats and stuff and we watched a mediocre film, it would be a blast. It would be super fun. This is probably a large bucket, okay? Again,
look, I said this last week when it's even been a little longer since we did the first one, but like I talk about nostalgia and how that can really push it up to me.
Correct.
Like push it up, but you're the keeper here. So you've got to be to a higher standard. So yes, emotions can impact a much more fractional than us guests. So I don't see how you could possibly, in good faith, say Good Time is actually a golden bucket.
That's why I'm saying it's large. But I'm also sticking with the fact that I had a good time with my guests.
Yeah.
The movie wasn't a good time, but I had a great time. And I'm partially conceding on these first two golden buckets of these bank of 50 reviews, because there's some stuff coming up that I've got to stick to my guns. Okay. That's where I'm being honest.
Okay. I appreciate that.
The King from 2019, the first debut of Sack Lunch.
Was that my first?
Yeah, we watched The King. It was with Timothy Chalamet.
A really good movie. In fact, I might watch it again.
You gave it a large bucket, and I also gave it a large bucket.
Yeah, I think that's a fair rating. I thought it was a really good movie.
Yeah, and it also had the actor from Good Time.
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson, Sparkly Skin McGee.
Yes.
Listen, the one thing that I remember the most about The King, still to this day, and it's been years since I watched it, I haven't seen it since. There's a scene where they are fighting with all their armor on in mud. And no movie I've ever seen that takes place in that era depicts fighting the way it really probably happened. They're just breathing heavily.
Clumsily.
They're like falling down, like trying to stab at little areas in the armpit. It's just awesome. It's really cool.
During that podcast, we referenced that and how we never, there's been movies where, the armor would stand up to a whack of a sword, but nothing to depict it in such a realistic way, because you're watching that and you're going, yeah, it's gotta be like that.
It's exactly. You're miserable. You're probably hungry. You're dehydrated. Any kind of wetness is gonna just derail you immediately. Yeah.
Great movie though.
Great movie. Yeah, large bucket for sure. All right, moving on to The Enforcer from 1976 with our good friend Clint Eastwood. This is the third in a series of the Dirty Harry films. I went on a kick one time and I was watching these because I thought they were pretty rad. And
absolutely,
if you like the first and the second one, it's awesome. If you don't, then it's not awesome. But I gave it a large. It was so fun. I just love 70s movies have this weird, the score's dope. Like he's chasing a perp on the roof and he falls into, it's in San Francisco. So he falls through a roof and he falls into a porn shoot. It's so weird and hilarious. Oh man, it's awesome.
The 70s movies, they got away with murder. Everything was super sexist and racist that came out of their mouths, and it was just fine.
Super sexist and just wanton violence whenever it just seemed necessary to the story. It didn't matter. It was awesome. Yeah. The next movie we got is From Beijing with Love from 1994. It's a completely dubbed Chinese film. I mean, I'm trying to think of, there's a couple of movies like this out there and it escapes me from right now, but it's like the Wayans brothers, how they did spoof movies for a while.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is like if someone in China did a spoof movie on James Bond.
I mean, I heard it was good, but
it's not that great. And listen, I would never watch
it. It was highly acclaimed, right?
Yeah, and I loved watching it with Colin Taylor. It was really funny and hilarious because we're just, ragging on it the whole time. But yeah, medium bucket. I can't give it any higher. And I would only recommend it to people that want to watch it with people. I wouldn't sit there and watch this by myself. No way.
Yeah.
All right, here's where we're going to get into things that I just have to do. We did a couple of my buddies at work had never seen all of the Rambo movies. And
Crazy.
and they had just came out on 4K release. So I was like, listen, you guys, I'm roping you into this. And we watched all the Rambo movies in order. I'm just going to hit you with it. First Blood, Golden Bucket. I'm changing this right now. First Blood Part 2, Golden Bucket. Rambo 3, Golden Bucket. Rambo from 2008, Golden Bucket. Rambo: Last Blood, 2019, Golden Bucket. Done.
Okay. All right. So first of all, Rambo 1 was fucking awesome.
Listen, yeah, Rambo.
Every single one.
Rambo is
awesome.
a good movie. It's like an actual good movie.
The 2008 Rambo, I don't know if you remember this, but you and I went and saw that together.
I did.
With one other person.
Was it Barraza, maybe? I can't remember.
Anyways.
Anyway.
Here's what I'll say about this is you're giving the series a golden bucket because you have to look at it as a whole in the context of which you were rating these movies. So I'm not going to allow you to count this as 5 golden buckets, but I would not begrudge you or disagree with you for giving what you did to say, hey, this series, the Rambo series, is a golden bucket as a whole. I'll agree with you, but I can't give you 5.
Yeah.
Like if we're going to talk about ratio, I cannot allow you to bump your ratio up by taking 5, because as much as I love Sly Stallone, and I've been binging on Tulsa King, which is really good. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've seen season 1. I've been kind of waiting. I think all season 2 is out now, right? Or are there still a couple left?
No, I think so. And the only reason why I saw that was because I wanted to see Landman, which is so good, man.
Oh, man.
Thornton's great.
I'm looking forward to Landman for sure.
It's so awesome, dude. Anyways, so yeah, that counts as 1 golden bucket.
Okay, so if I were to... Okay, obviously this is more of a joke than anything, but I love Rambo. I didn't get to see First Blood. I saw First Blood Part 2 on HBO when I was a kid, and I was like, this... And then I watched the cartoon when I was a kid, which is so weird that they're marketing this hard R to kids. But I over here on my desk, just right over here, I've got Rambo and the Sheik. I got all the toys. They're very not politically correct.
I love Rambo.
So,
there's no doubt.
But yeah, like if I were to rank them, I did rank them. So if you want to watch or listen to all these pods, we rank them at the end. There's definitely a low point, but they're all, I just love them all. So
yeah, because like if we go back to, if we go ahead, we're going to talk about some Mission Impossibles.
Correct.
And if you were to say the Tom Cruise Mission Impossibles as a whole is a golden bucket, but we really went granular and broke them down one, and not every single one received a golden bucket.
No,
but if I were to take Mission Impossible as a whole, it's a golden bucket.
Yeah, it's a great time. Highly rewatchable. Even the ones that I didn't like, even the ones you didn't like, highly rewatchable for sure. All right, let's move on. We just banged out 5. We're on to Zodiac from 2007. Large bucket. My guest Cole and Taylor gave it highest marks possible. They love this kind of stuff. I liked it a lot. You know what? The reason why I didn't give it a large was because they did I mean, it's not a spoiler, but we don't know who he is. It didn't get solved. Right. I wanted it to get solved.
Well, they say it's been solved now, but
what?
Yeah.
Oh man.
It was like 2 years ago?
I need to look that up.
But no, it's not verifiable. It's just, it was reported by a couple outlets, but yeah, I thought Zodiac was good.
It's not something I'm going to watch a ton, but good movie. All right, moving on to Bad Boys for Life from 2020. This is another golden bucket I love I love my Bad Boys movies so much.
I agree.
And this one was really good. It just brought back everything that I loved about Bad Boys.
It did. It's one of those where, to be honest with you, the second one is the best one. But
it's amazing.
So
Amazing.
good.
Oh, it's Bayhem at his best.
I can't begrudge you for a golden there.
Okay. Next one is Honest Thief from 2020. Not good. Dr. Dare hated this. This was, I think, our first movie that we could go see during the pandemic. We actually just wanted to get into a theater and just have some popcorn. And we just didn't care what we went and saw. And this was the only one we could go see. It's not good. It's Liam Neeson trying to do Taken again and again and again. And
just holding on for dear life.
I had to give him a medium bucket just because I love Neeson's, but yeah, not as good as his other films for sure.
All right.
I'm going to skip the next one. We for some reason
we covered it.
Yeah, we covered Last Blood, but for some reason I gave it a large bucket here instead of a golden. I don't know what's that's about. But okay. Let's move on to Waterloo from 1970. This is a back in the epics where they would make these giant movies with thousands and thousands of extras and giant battle scenes, and nothing is CGI. Obviously, it's all in camera, and it's a spectacle. Not something that I think a lot of people would enjoy just because it's really long and it's about, obviously it's Napoleon and it's towards the end of his career, and I liked it. Again, I'm not going to watch it again, but it was cool. I think if you're a cinephile, if you like movies and you have some time, which a lot of us don't, it's a cool thing to see. It's just a cool thing to witness, but yeah, not for everybody.
Like I said, I didn't see it, so I won't begrudge your large.
The Big Lebowski from 1998 has to be a golden bucket.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Listen, Sack Lunch, if we stop this pod right now and just started watching The Big Lebowski, and you were just watching my face while I'm watching it, that would be the best time of my life.
Oh, it's almost a cult classic, but like my feelings toward it are like a cult classic, but I know it's much bigger than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it for sure is, but it has that feel. And I think I've heard the Coen brothers say, like, I don't know why everyone loves this as much as they do. We liked it. Obviously we made it, but it definitely it's not their favorite film that they've made. But man, Is it awesome. So great.
I agree with it.
Okay. The Old Man and the Gun from 2018. It's essentially
Robert
Redford, that's right. Technically his last film before he retired. It felt a lot like a movie in the 70s. And the reason why I gave it a golden bucket is people just don't make movies like this. It's a slow burn. There's a lot of shots of someone sitting at a coffee shop and just talking about life. I like that sometimes in my life, and it was just a really comfortable, nice, fun story to watch. And I gave it a golden bucket because I want people to see shows like this. And that's it.
Okay. First, it is a great movie. Redford is obviously an all-timer, but golden bucket?
Yeah, I can see where you'd have a problem with this. And I accept it. I get it.
Okay.
I think
a great movie, like truthfully.
Yeah.
Really good.
Probably a large bucket for most people, maybe even a strong medium, but I just maybe did that to get people to go watch it. So.
Okay.
Next one is Brittany Runs a Marathon. My wife makes a special appearance back on the show. What a terrible, terrible film this is.
It sounds terrible.
And, I don't want to take anything away from the actress who is, headlines the show. She really lost a lot of weight, did it in continuity, started the film kind of like a Castaway thing where she was pretty heavy, then got thin and ran an actual marathon. And I got lambasted by a bunch of ladies. They don't like me.
I'm sure.
For sure. They're like, you got it wrong here. You know, they're the Lady Dans of the world that got after me. But yeah, not a great movie. Like I was expecting. She's really funny. She's in
very funny
Workaholics. Super funny lady. And she has a couple of really great jokes at the first, and I'm laughing out loud. I'm like, I'm in. This is going to be great. Not funny. Very serious. I hate it when they do a bait and switch like that, dude.
I'm sure it was a small bucket to a medium. Not a flaming, so that's good.
The only reason why I gave it a small was because of what she actually did. Because hats off to her, but not a great movie. All right, next is Willy's Wonderland from 2021. Hot garbage. And this is Nicolas Cage. We just talked about how awesome he is. Let me tell you something about this movie, Dan, because I know you haven't seen it.
I have not.
Please don't.
Okay, yeah.
The director's like, they're around a table, right? And they're like, hey, I got an idea. We'll make a Friday Night at Freddy's knockoff. We'll put Nick Cage in it. Everyone's like, oh, dude, this is awesome. Okay, and then get this last thing. We're going to have Nick Cage not say one word in the entire film.
Oh, man.
What? That's what we're going to do? The guy doesn't say one word. I was even hoping at the end that he would say like the F word or something crazy and it would just hit so hard. Nothing.
Wait, but he had some dialogue, right?
No words were spoken by Nick Cage in that film.
Was he on the screen a lot?
Kind of. A little bit. It wasn't good. Hot garbage. Flaming bucket.
Like the tough part is when you go that hard into a flaming bucket, like I'm almost like, man, I gotta see this just to see if it's that bad. Almost like it's a reverse golden bucket.
It kind of is. Like I like that I'm giving a few flaming buckets because it's so bad that maybe you got to go try it out. I mean, I wouldn't, but you're warned.
Okay. All right. I won't make you talk about it anymore.
Okay, please. Let's move on. All right. Bloodsport, 1998. This is the second time the Sack Lunch is on the show.
Yeah.
And you were surprised that I gave Bloodsport a golden bucket. How are you surprised at this? Why are you surprised? Please tell me.
What would you rate the original Karate Kid?
Golden bucket. I did.
And
it's coming up. It's coming up.
Is it?
Yes. On line 85. Episode 91.
So, I see that. So this is perfect. To me, the Karate Kid is the ultimate. It is the golden bucket standard for this type of movie.
It's very
and this comes so damn close that I'd almost say, okay.
Yeah,
In fact, I might just give it to you.
This was back when you didn't adopt my rating scale, so you gave it 3.25 out of 4 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were surprised. You're still surprised.
Well, look, I love it.
It's so
you
good.
know,
I could watch it over and over and over and over and over. It's so good.
I still think that nostalgia has a lot to play with it, which is okay.
I break you like I break your friend. You're next.
Have you seen him? Like, he's still yacked.
Is he like 72? Like, he's got to be old as balls.
No, dog. No.
Bolo
Google
Young.
him and you will see what I'm talking about. Like, he still looks very, very similar.
All right, next one is Natural Born Killers from 1994.
I don't know if I should admit what I'm about to.
Please.
I watched this tripping on fucking acid.
Oh, no.
On LSD.
No. That was a mistake.
It was one of the worst nights of my entire life.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
I don't know who thought that was a good idea. And LSD is the type of thing that something can take you one way and there is no way of unwinding that. And I couldn't unwind it, and it was awful.
Bro, I felt like I was on LSD watching it, and I wasn't. It's such a trip, dude. Listen, I feel like Natural Born Killers because Quentin Tarantino wrote the script, and then Oliver Stone basically took it and bastardized it. And Quentin was like, kind of divorced himself from it. He's like, this isn't my movie anymore. And you can tell there's little hints of him throughout the film, but it's like, it's not good. It's not good, dude.
Yeah, agreed.
I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, even for some scenes that are kind of cool in it, it's not. It's bad.
Wait, your guest gave it 3 out of 4?
Yeah, Cole, dude. Cole, he gives everything. That's a running joke on the show that he gives everything a 3 out of 4 stars, like everything.
Wow,
it's not good. And more importantly, he gives 3 out of 4s to the movies that he picks because he's like trying to be like, oh, see, I picked a good one. No, you didn't.
Gotta justify it.
As we're sitting here for 45 minutes talking about me justifying golden buckets.
I mean, I wasn't going to shine that spotlight on the irony, but hey, if you want to.
All right.
Start calling you the glass bucket.
Oh, come on. All right. Moving on to our third outing with the sack lunch, Army of the Dead. We thought this was going to be great.
Of course.
Zack Snyder. Mr. Fool Me 6 Times, Snyder.
And we'll talk about it later, maybe on the next episode. But we both gave this a plain bucket. It was awful. And this is where we started to really say that Zack Snyder is a fraud.
Correct. Yeah. And I think we talked a little bit about why I think that, because he directed one of the coolest movies of all time, the 300.
Superman?
No, 300. But the reason why I think he was so great at that, because some genius, Miller, gave him a graphic novel of every single shot. All he had to do was just follow the recipe, and he got it. I mean,
But wouldn't you give, for 300, wouldn't you give more credit to the cinematographer?
Well, yeah, because of the graphic novel is so, I mean, you look at the shots of the movie, they're identical to the graphic novel. They're just literally like, okay, let's make it like this.
Yeah.
It's super
Army
easy.
of the Dead was fucking terrible, though.
Terrible. And what's funny is there's a guy on it that we really like, that German guy, the safecracker guy, and there's a movie about him, and I didn't even want to watch it because this was so bad.
We talk about it during Army of the Dead, that podcast. Like, the concept is so money, dude. Like, you could have done so much with it, and they just completely missed the mark.
Yeah. Yeah, let's move on. F you, Zack Snyder. You're not fooling me anymore. I didn't watch your dumb Fly Me to the Moon Part 2. I don't give a crap about it. Get out of here. Godzilla vs. Kong from 2021. I gave it a large bucket.
Okay.
I love these kind of movies. I love monster movies. It's sick. Not a golden. We already talked about, maybe we haven't yet, but my golden bucket in that series it's Skull Island is the best of the series for sure.
Yeah, tough. That was a tough one.
All right, here's a stretch of 3. I'm just going to say all 3. One of them you're on, okay? One of them you're the guest. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Total Recall, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Old School. All golden buckets. Can you argue any of those are not golden?
No.
Okay,
I think Total Recall was so badass, especially at the time.
Yeah.
I'm not an Indiana Jones fan. And I having seen all of them, and I don't even remember Raiders of the Lost Ark. So
that's the best. It's the best one.
As if I've not seen them. But I know how many people like this. So, all right, Yeah, I think I'm good with your three there.
All right.
I mean, old school is holy cow, man. I mean, we've talked about this often, but man, those were the heydays of comedy, dude. So, oh man, like Wedding Crashers and Old School are
Oh, so great.
yeah,
It's like an old friend. It's like a warm blanket when you go back to those. So great.
yeah.
Okay, the next 12 movies, pulling out Karate Kid, which we already talked about, which is a golden bucket, which is episode 91. We did a extravaganza of all Alien and Predator films and the crossovers.
Yep.
So I'm just going to read them all, and then we can talk about them as a chunk. How about that?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. We tried to watch them in order of timeline, where they fit in the timeline of those movies. So they're not in order of when they were released. Just keep that in mind. And by the way, I did extensive research, watched countless hours of behind the scenes footage. If you like any of this stuff, it's a great listen. You'll get a lot of really cool gold nuggets. Maybe I'll coin the phrase right now. A new thing, a golden nugget. So please listen. It was a labor of love for sure. It took me a long time. And we lost a few guests along the way because they just couldn't hang. I was there till the end. Okay.
Yes.
And Dr. Dare too. All right. So we got Prometheus. I gave a large bucket. Alien Covenant. I gave a medium. Alien from 1979. I gave a golden bucket. Aliens from 86, I gave a golden bucket. Alien 3, I gave a small bucket for obvious reasons. If you don't know why, please go watch it. Alien Resurrection, although it was super fun, I gave it a medium. It's a fun, it's almost like someone made we'll come back to that. Predator, golden bucket, 1987. Predator 2, medium bucket, although I kind of want to give it a large right now, from 1990. Predators, so we waited 20 years to get another Predator. Shame on you, Hollywood. 2010, I gave a large bucket. The Predator from 2018, I gave a medium. Aliens versus Predator, a large bucket. I love that movie so much. And then Alien versus Predator Requiem. The only reason why I didn't give it a flaming bucket is because it has a Predator in it. I mean, if you have a Predator in your movie, you're going to get a minimum from me, a small bucket. But it's not
right.
Good.
Yeah. Which one is the one with like the Indians?
Oh, that one is going to be in our next episode. It's called Prey. Dr. Dare and I came back to watch that because it came out after we had done this kind of, alien extravaganza. So,
yeah, I mean, Alien is an all-timer. Predator is an all-timer. So I'll give you those. I don't think that you can necessarily go golden on all of them. I would say as a whole.
I didn't.
No. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
And Alien as a whole, I would probably say, like, if we were to take it again as the series itself, it's probably a golden bucket. But Predator, I think as a whole, that goes down to a large bucket.
Yeah, I agree. Predator is a million times golden bucket. Amazing film. I mean,
so good.
What an awesome movie. But looking at this
great concept,
having huge dudes in the 80s all like competing
just roid it out.
And then them, it's basically like an action movie, military movie to start out with, and then it turns into a horror movie, which is awesome. So cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think looking at this 12 movie stretch, I think I did a pretty good job of being, what's the word? Objective?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
Hey, we just knocked out 12 and no arguments. But by the way, Alien versus Predator Requiem, I would easily give it a medium to large bucket if they hadn't made it so, I almost cursed, but so stinking dark. Whoever the cinematographer did, they color graded it dark to hide some imperfections. And I've seen the guy who actually did the costume work before they color graded it wrong. It looks awesome and amazing. There's some really cool action set pieces that you just can't see. It's so dark. We had to turn the brightness way up. That's kind of a hack for that movie. It's not good. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. Sicario from 2015. All my guests gave it golden buckets. It's the first time I think JJ might have been on the show.
That movie, the score, it's so good. Sicario is an all-timer.
Yeah, and what's interesting, I think we have it later on it'll be in next episode, but we do the sequel of Sicario, and although it's a good movie, when you hold it next to Sicario, it's like almost like a horrible movie. Even though it's pretty good, but it's so hard to compare those.
I agree. I won't begrudge your golden there.
All right, here we go. Big Trouble in Little China. I have in my notes, it says the start of Sack Lunch hating on my rating of movies.
Yeah.
Because I gave it a golden bucket and you gave it a large.
Which this was my pick, and it's so awesome.
It is great.
Very culty. I can't give you a golden bucket on it. I just still can't. I can't come your way on this one. Just because it was awesome, it doesn't make it a golden bucket.
I agree to your reasoning, but nostalgia bumps it up. It's so rewatchable. I watched it with
the monsters, dude. Those little alien monsters.
The brain, the eyeball brain. All the guys who look like freaking Mortal Kombat characters, they ripped off.
Right.
My son, I watched it with at the time he was 9 or 10 years old. He was like, "Dad, this is the coolest movie I've ever seen." And I was like, "You have my blood, son. You have my blood."
I wasn't much younger when I watched it the first time, so I'm with him. Like I said, freaking awesome movie, but just because it's an awesome movie, it doesn't make it a gold bucket.
I disagree on this one for sure, vehemently. And you know what's funny? My son was like, when Kurt Russell goes into basically it's a brothel, and my son's like, why did he say he wants to pick an Asian lady? And I was like, well, he just wants to. I was like, I don't know, man. He's just in this place. It'll be fine. It was so funny. I didn't catch it when I was a kid either. I didn't know what was going on. What are all these ladies doing in all these little rooms with beds? I didn't know.
It's a Chinese tradition. I think you would agree on Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay.
You could understand a large, while I can understand a golden.
All right. I think this episode we're the first 50 kind of swung towards you. These are swinging towards me.
Well, it's a little skewed because of the series. I would say that this set has swung towards you.
All right, we have one more. We have three more movies, and then we'll see if the tiebreaker will be part 3 of this look back. We'll see who wins.
Okay.
All right, we got Midnight Run from 1988. I gave it a large bucket. It's a fun movie. I love De Niro.
Not a golden bucket, though.
No. I love De Niro being in comedies. He should do it more. Well, maybe he should be more selective, I should say, but he can do it really well.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
I agree.
We've got Lamb from 2021.
Don't even know what it is.
Oh my gosh. Cole picked it. Obviously, he gave it a high mark because he picked it. It is so weird. This lady, I thought it was like maybe a dream sequence or something. Like at the end, it would be like, oh, this lady was just crazy. It's supernatural. They literally find a half human, half lamb child and they raise it as their own. And I won't tell you the spoiler at the end. It's so, oh man, it's not good.
I think you can.
It's literally a goat man humped like had a man child baby, and then he comes back to get it and he kills people. It's weird. I kind of want to give it a flaming bucket. I don't like that movie at all. Sorry.
It doesn't sound good in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it's like almost like, I think the director said, I wanted to make a movie about the Mary Had a Little Lamb like poem or child's nursery rhyme. And I think
nursery rhyme. But, hey, I've said this before to that point. Like, we know the playground song "Ring Around the Roses."
Yeah.
If you listen to the words, it's a pretty morbid
it's
song.
Dark. Yeah.
Talking about death.
Yeah, the Black Plague, the bubonic plague.
That's so maybe Mary Had a Little Lamb was about lamb.
Oh my gosh! Please stop. It's so terrible. Don't watch it. Listen to the podcast. Don't watch the movie.
Yeah, good on you.
All right. Last but not least, The Fifth Element. Again, Sack Lunch comes back. We both gave this a gold bucket.
Yeah. And I would probably venture to say that the majority of the people would disagree with us. But if you're somebody that's cool, you would agree with us.
Okay. I mean, I wrote in my notes.
Somebody that's cool.
Yeah. Well, we're cool. We know that. But
yeah.
I wrote in my notes, Sack Lunch is stingy with his golden buckets right from his mouth.
I am.
I'm not.
I'm a little stingy.
But I've gotten better. That's it for part 2. We made it through 100 movie reviews over a couple of years, many years actually. I would say point goes to Popcorn Priest on part 2.
Yeah, I'll agree.
Yes. All right, dude.
You needed it too.
I needed it.
This could have been a shellacking if you didn't come through on that one.
No way. Well, any parting thoughts before we head out, and we'll come back for part 3 and finish off our retrospective?
I have a lot of finishing thoughts, so I'll save it.
Okay, I like it. Well, there you have it. I don't have an outro. Actually, I'll do this. We'll just hit it how we started this episode. Join us next week for our part 3 and our final look back. I think we'll probably do this every year. At the end of the year, we'll kind of look back and see what we reviewed, how we reviewed it. Was I right? Was I wrong? We'll see you guys next week.